Remember, the 5th of November, though it was earlier this month. The Archivist stands to reason to not commit comic treason, that it ought not be forgot. 10. Plus a pretty heated election that makes it topical. As always, massive spoilers ahead. Time to dive right into the Archivist November Vendetta. V for Vendetta number 5. Welcome back to Live with V, as he basically speaks as though he's firing the human race, talking about how they've been with the company for about 10,000 years. All throughout his pseudo-psychotic rant, SWAT teams begin to storm the building. In his rant though, V makes a good point about how it's not their fault because management sucks, but they're the ones who elected management and keep management in place. He gives them 2 years to shape up or he'll be forced to terminate them. The SWAT team breaks down the door. V is just standing there with his voice still ringing before they pump V full of lead. We cut to a random beach with Finch smoking his pipe on a forced vacation because he ... Flashback to the NTV crime scene where Allman's replacement, Peter Creedy, is bragging about how under his watch they finally killed V. Yet Finch takes off the mask and it's actually Roger Dascom dressed as V, so the real V did escape. But Creedy is still pretty flippant about V, irking the hell out of Finch. But Creedy really steps over the line, saying that the only reason Finch has his panties in a bunch is because he was screwing Surridge before V killed her. Well, that straw done broke the camel's back and Finch knocked Creedy out. Over with Evey, she's now living as a lodger to the crooked man named Gordon, and she's no longer thinking about V, at least according to her. Though more importantly, a newspaper in Gordon's hand says that the Guy Fawkes video was just merely an error. Hop over to March 8th, and we're in the burlesque house, the Kitty Cat Keller, with Gordon having brought Evey, who's now a tad drunk, but hiding it relatively well as she looks around, noting a couple people before seeing Rose Almond, who she watches as the manager comes over and tells her she needs to leave because her credit card was declined. We also see Robert, a friend of Gordy's, talking to Creedy, who's shipping his mother off since he ain't like Almond and isn't gonna give special treatment. A Scottish gangster friend of Gordon, named Harper, comes to the table and starts chatting him up before Robert stumbles over and has a nervous breakdown, causing a bar fight. Gordon and Evey leave with a pretty good trade-off of words. We shouldn't have to live like this, should we? No, kid, we shouldn't. But what are we gonna do about it? And on a rooftop above the two, V looks at them both on the ground below. June 11th rolls around and Gordon is running from men, trying to reach his flat, desperately fumbling with his keys. Back in April, Gordon and Evey finally cut through the "I didn't think you liked me" to start doing the nasty. And staying in June now, Gordon gets into his flat and locks the door, telling Evey to lock herself upstairs in the bathroom. As Gordon talks to Harper through the door, a sword slams through the door, killing Gordon as Evey is left upstairs asking a corpse if it's safe to come out now. So I was wrong, V did actually release Evey, though he's still obviously watching her. This is actually a pretty good way to solidify her to his side really, because he supported her in the Shadow Gallery, reading books to her, letting her experience the world as it was, while not truly asking anything of her, save for the one time with the bishop. So by then turning around and leaving her to her own devices without any assistance, she's going to stay at the bottom of things and see the bad of the underbelly. I could be overanalyzing that, but it works. There's also Finch's breakdown when he beats up Creedy, because Finch no longer sees V as just an anarchistic terrorist, but rather as something more, something inhuman. Granted, that view is also given root by Surridge's diary, though again Surridge's diary could easily have been a forgery, and later we'll see why I think that the events in Lark Hill that the diaries spell out, or at least the last night, may not be entirely accurate. Anyways, Finch is really going downhill, Creedy is enforcing a bit harder, as we saw in the bar scene, and now Evey's mixed up with a criminal who's now dead thanks to a Scottish gangster. Tomorrow, will Evey get revenge for Gordy? Will V get her back under his wing? And how will Rose's life get any worse at this point? All that and more tomorrow. See ya then.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.